Hi everybody, I'm Mrs. Kokenauer, the librarian at Alice D. Contreras Elementary, and I am missing you. I have a great story to share with you today. I think you'll find it interesting. I think all ages will enjoy it, but I especially picked it out for some of my older grades. I know fourth graders are learning all about making an argument and identifying the points of a good argument. And so I thought to myself, who makes a good argument but people running for president? And so today I'm going to read you the book, If I Ran for President by Catherine Stier. Thank you to Scholastic Press for letting us read this book together today. Running for president is a really hard job. And did you know you could run for president? In our country, a man or a woman can be president. You have to be 35 years old and you have to be born here and a citizen of the United States. And you can make your argument about why people should vote for you. So let's read If I Ran for President. Let's identify the points that they have to make in their argument to be a president. It would be great to run for president of the United States. If I ran for president, I'd hope the people of the United States would choose me for a very important job, the job of leading our country. And I'd hope to follow in the footsteps of past presidents, such as George Washington, our first president, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. Boys and girls, let me tell you what this is. This is Mount Rushmore, and it is a mountain in South Dakota, which is one of the states in the United States, and the faces of 4 of our presidents are carved into the side of it. I wanted to go see Mount Rushmore my whole life, and 2 summers ago, I got to see it. It was amazing. I hope you get to go one day. I had to think carefully about my decision to run for president. I would want to know how my family felt about it too. Then I'd ask myself, am I the best person for the job? Am I ready to work very, very, very hard for my country? Do lots of people believe in me? And will they help me run for office? If I could answer yes to all these questions, then I'd declare my candidacy. What is candidacy? That means I'd announce I was interested in the job of President of the United States. That's when his hard work begins. If I ran for president, I'd run a campaign to let voters learn all about me. People who thought I would be a good president would donate money or time to help. I'd hire people to work on my campaign too. Campaigns can make a candidate famous. Soon my name or face would appear on signs, buttons, bumper stickers, and t-shirts. I'd even star in television commercials. And his campaign or her campaign would be when they would make their argument about why they would be a good president. They would set out the points of their argument. If I ran for president, I'd work with my political party. That's a group of people who share the same beliefs about how the country should be governed. They support candidates who uphold those ideas. The 2 major parties are the Democratic Party, their symbol is a donkey, and the Republican Party, their symbol is an elephant. There are other parties too, called third parties. But people besides me would want to be president. The Republican and Democratic parties must choose whom they'll support in the election. In some states, like Iowa, the parties each hold meetings called caucuses, where members pick their favorite candidate. In most states, party members hold an election called a primary. So there will either be a meeting called a caucus or an election called a primary. In Texas, we have an election called a primary. Caucuses and primaries show which candidates are popular with voters and who might have the best chance of being elected president. Possibly this is who made their argument the best, who laid out the clear points to why they would be the best president. The first primary is held in New Hampshire in the winter before the presidential election. I'd be sure to visit there, but I'd have to bundle up. In the summer before the election, the political parties announce their candidate for president. The major parties make this announcement at meetings called conventions. Each state sends delegates to the convention. Delegates vote for the candidate who was most popular in their state. Now, this is an imaginary picture of a convention, and all these people in the crowd are delegates from their states, from all 50 states. A convention looks like a big celebration full of cheering and chanting, balloons and confetti. Millions of Americans watch the excitement on TV. By the time of the convention, everyone usually knows which candidate will be chosen, but the delegates still hold a vote. If my party chose me to run for president, I'd make a speech to get everyone excited about helping me win. I'd tell the American people about my platform, my plans and ideas for our country. My running mate would make a speech too. That's the person who would be my vice president if I became president. Okay, so the vice president is called the running mate, and the platform is their argument, the presidential candidate's argument about why they would make a good president. If I ran for president, I'd be invited to debate with other presidential candidates. A person called a moderator would ask us questions. People across the country would listen carefully to our answers. You can watch these debates on TV. Some of you may have already seen them. And this is when each candidate makes an argument about why the voters should vote for them. And sometimes they argue with each other about why they don't agree with one or the other candidates. Reporters would ask me questions too about my life, my family, even my kitten Sassy. Reporters are people who work for newspapers, TV stations, and different places that report the news and what's going on in the country. They'd print old photographs of me in newspapers and magazines, like the snapshot of me in my superhero costume, or my baby picture when I still wore diapers. And that's why I tell you, boys and girls, when we talk about pictures on the internet, don't do anything too crazy because you might be in the newspaper later. If I ran for president, I would travel the country to meet lots of people. I'd have my own campaign bus or airplane to take me from place to place. Inside, there'd be comfy seats, perfect for checking out the news, writing speeches, and thinking about how to solve the nation's problems. I'd take naps too. I'd need the extra rest. I'd work hard and be very busy. All in 1 week, I might share cereal with kindergartners in California, crunch corn with farmers in Kansas, and have dinner in Delaware, where I'd ordered the Blue Plate Special with apple pie and a large strawberry milkshake. After all that food, I might not feel too well. Still, I'd have to smile and talk with the people I met. Presidential candidates make lots of speeches, shake hands, and cuddle babies. In those speeches, that is when they are lining up the reasons why people should vote for them. and making clear points to their argument. Finally, in November, Election Day would arrive. If I ran for president, I'd be nervous and excited. On Election Day, millions of voters from across the country go to their polling places to cast their ballots. That's another way to say that they vote. And every citizen in the United States has the right to vote when you turn 18. This is Texas. This is what the 50 states of America look like. Here's the 50 states in the continental U.S., and then we have Alaska and Hawaii. In our country, people vote in private. No one but you knows how you voted, but I know I choose my favorite candidate, me. In our country, you do not have to tell anybody who you voted for, and no one can make you vote for any certain person. Once the voting is finished, officials count up the ballots. Then comes the announcement on television, radio, in the newspapers, and on the internet. People everywhere find out who will be the next president of the United States. I'd stay up late and keep my fingers crossed. If I ran for president and lost, the people who worked so hard on my campaign would be disappointed. I'd be disappointed too. Still, I'd be proud that I had taken part in a free and fair election. I'd make a telephone call to offer my best wishes and my support to the winner, our next president. But if I won, wow! I wonder what you would feel like if you won the election to be president. Would you be so excited? Would you be so nervous? Probably a whole bunch of feelings. On January 20th, I'd say the words of the oath of office and be sworn in as president. On that day, my inauguration day, there'd be a parade and a fancy ball. Now, an oath of office is basically like a promise to uphold the Constitution of the United States and do the best job you can for your country. Inauguration Day is the day that this happens, and it's always January 20th. And of course, a fancy ball is like a dance. Then I'd move into the White House in Washington, D.C. to begin my 4-year term as the President of the United States of America. When we vote for a president, they can be president for 4 years. They can run again, and if they're lucky and win, they can be president again for another 4 years, and then they have to retire, which means they stop being president, and someone new will become president. And what would I do when I became president? Well, that's another story. Hopefully, if you became president, you would do exactly what you made your argument in your platform and promised to do for the country. You would be able to do those things. Now, if you want to take the AR test on this book, this is the AR number. You can log into AR just the same as you always have and take that test. Now, boys and girls, we have a very exciting year this year. This is 2020, and it happens to be an election year. We will be voting for a president in November. Citizens who are 18 or older can vote for their choice for president in November, and we will find out who it will be. And just like we read in this book, the conventions will be held this summer in June and July, and they will be on TV. Maybe you will be interested in hearing the arguments that different candidates make for their platform as they're running for president this summer at the conventions. I hope you enjoyed this book. I miss you. I love you. You're my favorite. I'll see you soon.